Hi, welcome to Revenue Marketing Television, the CMO Insight Series. I am your host, Jeff Pedowitz, President and CEO of the Pedowitz Group. Today, we have with us a long-term colleague and friend, Kirk Crenshaw, who is Chief Marketing Officer at Traackr. Kirk, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So, let's see. You and I know each other from back in the day, fighting our way up right through the ranks, learning the ins and outs of marketing.
The
So,
early days of marketing automation.
yes,
The early days.
we say that fondly. Although, it's getting back. It's almost a generation now, right? So it's about 18,
It's
30.
crazy. I tell the story of being told numerous times by a number of VCs that marketing automation would never be a thing. And I think it's a thing.
Yeah, it's funny. I wrote an article last month, and because I found something online, like all the stupid things executives have said about trends, right? When they said it about Google or the personal computer or the car,
Yeah,
you know,
classic that. Classic
electricity. So yeah, I would say that you're going to probably prove them wrong about that too.
that.
But fast forward now, we're halfway through 2018, and from your perspective, what's the biggest change that's happened, and what's coming next on the horizon?
Wow, there's a lot of things happening right now in the world of marketing, particularly for me in the MarTech world. Even our own team, we're experiencing a lot of changes focused on the customer journey and that focus. Right, we've gone to a heavily focused ABM strategy. We're spending a lot of time thinking about the customer journey from the customer's perspective and how we should engage and kind of change the way we engage, become more empathetic, become more understanding of their journey, take the time to really get to know them rather than this kind of spray and pay, excuse me, pray and spray mentality that have been going on for many, many years. I don't know how many times I still get that annoying email, are you the right person? Well, if you spent some time to get to know me, maybe you would know I'm the right person.
Or
So,
dear first name, right?
yeah,
It
dear
always
first
says
name.
first name.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's thinking about how to change that and become a partner to that prospect or partner to that long-term customer where we help them along the way in making their decision. And it takes a lot of time and understanding to sit back and say, okay, how would I like to be treated in this instance, and how would I react to this engagement? And taking time with not only my team but also the sales team to also drive that thinking and that concept. And it's really changed the way we work as a company. We've also been doing a lot of thinking in terms of like, what does that do in terms of impacting the current marketing stack? Do things look very different in the way that um, people are engaging in the technologies they use? Are they spending more time focused on the message and spending more time, maybe even doing some manual work in that whole process to get deeper into understanding who the customer is, tweaking messages before they go out instead of just sending out this generic message to everybody. So those are the biggest things that I'm seeing, and I'm seeing it at our customers as well, where they're struggling with, hey, how do I engage with customers and understand them and engage them in a way that they understand and at the end of the day, it's all about trust, right? It's becoming more and more about trust. And the big thing at the end of this week is GDPR, and everybody's talking about how that's going to impact the way we engage with prospects, we engage with customers. And so there's a lot of thinking in terms of um, those privacy rules, but how that impacts the way I'm going to engage with somebody as well.
Yeah, I think we're a lot of people probably have been deferring on that, waiting to see if the other shoe is going to drop, right? How much it's going to get enforced.
Yep.
I think they're going to find that EMEA is pretty serious about it, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a
And
matter of time.
I expect we'll have some form of GDPR in North America. Just I know that's what a lot of the companies are thinking about. How is this going to impact North America as well? Which is, it's going to be a significant change in the way we operate.
Look, even I mean, for years, right? Even just doing double opt-in, the classic response is, oh, "Do you know what that's going to do to my list?"
Yeah, yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it's yeah, it's really not about the size of your list, right?
yeah.
It's about respecting your customer. But hey, yeah, I totally get it. So one thing I'm curious because everyone's talking about this, become more customer focused, put the customer in the middle. We got to do more ABM, and there's a lot of software vendors out there. But can you walk us through like how you're doing it? And so, like, what are the steps that you're taking week after week with your team to actually literally change your marketing to be customer focused and be more ABM centric?
Okay. Well, the first step is basically what you just touched on, is getting people to understand that it's not quantity anymore. It's all about quality, right? These massive top of the funnel numbers aren't things that always translate into real revenue. And, as a company, we've been for what the company is about 10 years old. The company was bootstrapped for most of that time. We just raised about $9 million to accelerate our efforts. But in that time of being bootstrapped, you think about, how do I become efficient in terms of my outreach? How do I become efficient in terms of my resources and my tactics? And you spend a lot of time thinking about who your really, really good customers are. What does that profile look like? And getting over the barrier with the sales team of saying, hey, you're not going to have a million leads coming in, or a million suspects, I guess I should say, coming in, is kind of intimidating to them. But the biggest thing is spending time in educating and talking through that process of, hey, when somebody comes through and they end up in front of you, the probability that they will become pipeline is so much greater than they were in the past. And we'll be having more quality conversations rather than just doing basic qualification. And that for us was step one, is just getting the sales team comfortable, and that rolls up all the way to the CEO as well, in terms of understanding that strategy. And I think people need to understand with ABM too, it's not a tactic, it's a company strategy, and it's become who we are as a company as well, right? We quit doing let's fill the top of the funnel with everybody's mother, brother, sister, and cousin, right, to becoming super focused in the way we operate. So that's a big step one. And once you get past that, I think things become much easier. It's not the simplest journey, but it changes everything in terms of the way people are thinking about how to operate, what events to go to, how to engage. So that step one is, okay, things are changing. We're going to go for quality over quantity. The focus here is getting more real at-bats for you. And that changes everything. And that really, really helps to bring the sales and marketing team together as well. So that connection is super important. And I'm lucky that I have a SVP of sales that, we get along incredibly well. We spend a lot of time together, talking about these things and the changes, and that flows all the way down through the organization as well. And so kind of the next step is, okay, who is our ideal customer? And, that obviously takes that intense collaboration with the sales team as well, is defining what do they look like, what are their characteristics, what do we want in terms of company size, industry, what personas are we going after, who within the company do we need to make contact with to make this decision. And then from there, we start building, I'm going to steal the Engagio. I think Engagio created this, but the idea of plays, right, is like, how are we going to engage with these different personas in the process, and who's going to engage with them? Will it be me? Will it be our CEO? Will it be our head of sales? Will it be our AEs? And then building out those flows and plays collaboratively with the sales team. And then we have an interesting asset that we use our own product to sell our product, which is kind of neat. So what we do is we create these state of influence reports that when we've picked our ideal profile and our vertical, we'll create these reports that essentially give these brands visibility into how they're performing in terms of share of voice in the influencer world. So just to backtrack, we're an influencer marketing platform, and we expose data to these target customers and kind of pique their interest in terms of engaging with us. Like, hey, did you know that you have, double the amount of engagement with this particular group of influencers, or did you know your competition is beating you up in this particular space? And so having that asset and driving that focus around a particular vertical, even to the company level within that analysis, gives the prospects and our customers visibility into, like, oh my God, these guys actually put some time into engaging with me, and they took the time to build this report. They want to take some time to talk me through it, and that engagement level is amazing. Versus, if I went out and said, hey, I got an influencer marketing platform, is that something that you're doing? Are you
Kirk,
the right
I'm
person?
curious,
Right?
as you guys have been putting this process in over the last year, how have your numbers changed? So are you seeing a significant
It's amazing. As you would suspect, the raw lead number has dropped, but we expected that. But the conversion of something that you can consider a raw lead to MQL has easily doubled. And then from that MQL to a sales-ready lead has almost tripled. And then our pipe to close has gone from around 28% to closer to 50%.
Wow, that's
so
amazing.
All these things, the discussion I have a lot with our SVP of sales and even the CEO is like, what are the little levers that we can move to just make this adjustment? And the thing you need to really realize is that a 2%, 1%, 2% change from raw lead to MQL changes your world.
Factorial
It makes such a huge difference. And you just got to think about that. What is that little either message tweak, or what piece of content can we create that gives individuals, gets them to raise their hand and say, oh, I want to engage with you and talk through this. And it's never we always try to avoid what we would consider a salesy message. Like, we want to present the information and talk them through this. And usually what happens is when you talk the prospect through the information, they go, wow, how did you get that? And then that leads into kind of a natural transition into, okay, here's the platform, here's the information that we can provide you, and this is the process that we can pull you through. And it completely changes that relationship with the prospect to that of, like, I'm trying to be sold to no, this is really interesting. I'm going to bring some more people in and we're going to talk about this, because for us, we sell to a lot of Fortune 1000 brands, and we try to spend a lot of time as a company elevating that influencer discussion to a more strategic level rather than a tactic as well. And taking this approach around providing this data, providing this area for thinking, and a kind of extracting pain points from that, completely changes those conversations. So it's much more about them and way less about us. And the sales team has been seeing that outcome. The marketing team has been seeing that outcome, and it actually, I was at Amazon prior to Traackr, and they always have this idea about the flywheel. Like, how do we create this flywheel of motion, and everything just kind of feeds on each other. And that's what we're seeing internally at Traackr, where the marketing team is creating this information, the sales team is becoming engaged and excited about when is the new state of influence report coming out, and where are we going, and where who can I go after? And it's this excitement that it generates that I rarely experience and rarely see, but it's fun to having a marketer saying I like to spend time with my sales team is a super rarity, and I really do enjoy spending time with my sales team and talking through these things and seeing them get excited about what we're producing. And because at the end of the day, we both we all want to be successful, we all want to drive revenue, and if you take a step back, ABM was kind of that spark that got us to rethink how we operate and how we do things.
Well, very easy to see why you've been so successful all these years, and definitely successful at Traackr. So what a great story. Kirk, thank you so much for being on the program today and sharing all the great results. And we're definitely going to be looking for more of that good stuff from you in the future. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet.